Hello all, welcome to the telecast of Extrapolate, Future of Education Student Research Initiative Program by Central Bookshop and Science Society. We are here to take you through some of the interesting projects which school students of Hyderabad had worked on to bring in small changes to evolve the education ecosystem in India. The first presentation after lunch was student-specific learning, and in this students observed the impact of student-teacher ratio on the overall learning outcomes of the students.
Here the idea is student-specific learning, and by student-specific learning, we are trying to highlight on the idea of individual attention for all the students in the class. So that includes lesser teacher-student ratio, more extracurricular activities versus the academics, and also skill-based education.
There were 3 rounds of the experiment. In each round, a lesson was taught and a test with similar difficulties was conducted. Everything was the same in each round except for the number of students in the class. The first round there were 30 students, in the second round there were 20 students, and in the third round there were 15 students. As you can see, there is a noticeable difference between the bars in the graph.
So you see the graph which is increasing with the decreasing student-teacher ratio.
Drawing conclusions from our survey, we can say that the main drawbacks of this educational system are limited choice of activities available for the students, less individual importance given to the students, and very high student-teacher ratio.
We had a very interesting Q&A session after this presentation.
What do you think, what is the teacher-student ratio in those schools?
It's around 80 to 90, sir, according to the classes
So
which
if
we got.
so when you made the conclusion that there has to be a strict admission procedure, so what if the entire country starts having strict admission procedures? What will happen to the people who will not be able to clear that strict admission process?
Yeah, I just got this data because I anticipated such a question. So right now in Hyderabad, I'm talking only about Hyderabad, we have 16 lakhs seats which are empty, which are available from all the schools together, an average. And only 9 lakh of the seats are occupied, right?
So why do you think?
If you have a strict admission procedure in one of the schools, it depends on what kind of procedure they put. If they want to take in only 80% plus students, they can take them, but there'll always be schools which also take 70% plus students. So it'll be depending on the rating of the school that they take in the children. So you'll always have a choice.
Do you think it is the responsibility of the Y students,
The red one.
the red ones, to be proactive and seek out help from teachers? Should they do it?
Sir, see,
Do they have a role in that?
yeah, of course they have a role, but the point is the teacher should also show some interest, right? And right now, these guys go for tuitions. Okay, it's not like, the thing is they're not good in academics. So if they can pay attention, if they're given attention, I'm pretty sure they'll be very good.
If you improve this ratio, wouldn't the teacher have to cater to more sections, and wouldn't that increase the stress on the teacher?
Sir, a teacher's job is to basically guide a student and teach that person. Otherwise, they wouldn't be called a teacher. Yeah, economics also is possible because at least we can start implementing it in private schools, and government schools also have many teachers. If you have 200 students, I'm pretty sure many of them will have activities which all of them like. So there'll be something in common. So you can put them in groups together, and then you can have group-based learning.
The next presentation was on kinesthetic learning. Do field studies actually contribute to learning outcomes? Can we actually experimentally test it out? Can we conduct an assessment and test it out? Well, the presentation is waiting for you.
A change in the education system can be brought by introduction of kinesthetic learning. So what is kinesthetic learning? Kinesthetic learning refers to the learning process where learning takes place by physical methods rather than by audiovisual means. So why do we need kinesthetic learning? People often tend to move while tapping their feet, drumming their fingers, etc. while listening to lessons, classes, etc. So physical touch has been proved very effective rather than by audiovisual methods. This helps increase focus on the topic they are being thought about. Non-availability of resources. What does it mean? It actually means non-availability of adequate equipment. So in this case, we would like to prefer study tours, like taking this, instead of creating a physical environment for students learning, it would be better if we take the students to the real life, and there we can explain where they could put their theoretical part into
Application. We conducted an experiment by dividing the students of class 10 into two sections, section A and section B. We've taught the students of section A by using the chalk and talk method, and the students of section B by practical methods. As you can see, the students of section A have achieved a 6.5 average out of a 10-mark test they've taken, and the average of section B is 8 out of 10, which clearly shows that the practical method of teaching is more effective.
My good friend Ashish asked a beautiful question here.
In fact, study tours will be more costly than having adequate equipments for your kinesthetic learning.
Sir, as you said, it would be better, but actually for each and every subject, you need some equipment. But in a study tour, all the subjects together can be overall put into one topic. Like that, the more and more equipments will be more, but if you see in study tour, together it will be more.
Which method is better? You're saying going out is better or staying indoors? What does you think needs to be done for students as we go along?
Sir, theoretical learning which we used to do it so far, it's not working actually. It's not working efficiently. So why not try a good thing as if the practical learning, so that student even gets a new thing in and it can work. The practical learning can help them.
We want the students to be able to apply whatever they learn more practically. Like not just sciences, even economics and commerce and anything. What they should be able to do is, like in economics, if you take like LDMU or LEMU, law of diminishing marginal utility and everything, be able to take an example in real life and apply it and check it out.
So when you organize these study tours, all the the person asked, won't all the students gain the same experience? How does it ensure personalized learning? That's the question which I'm quoting as such. And one more question was, different students prefer different methods of learning. How can the schools implement this? That's a question.
By grouping children. Means people who understand the topic in a way, they can be grouped together so that they can understand it.
The next project was a very exciting one. This was the project on realistic learning, and these students worked on a couple of things. One, does group-based learning enhance the overall educational outcomes? And two, do visuals help in understanding a few topics?
To take the students' perspective, we've actually conducted a survey among 250 students in our school to discover what actually is disturbing them with the education system. According to a survey, the students actually told us that they found the classroom teaching method very boring, and that's the exact reason they were not fascinated by the concept.
We did a general experiment in 2 of our classes. One class was divided into groups, while the other was not. After a general topic of quadrilaterals was taught, students who were divided into groups were asked to discuss amongst themselves and try to solve the problems, while the students who were not divided into groups were only supposed to refer to the textbook or guides or take the help of the teacher and solve the problems. A general test was conducted for students of both the classes. As per the teacher, the students who were divided into groups were said to be more interactive, started participating more in the class discussions, and started becoming more bold.
In a survey we conducted in our school, we selected 2 classes, class 6 and class 8, which had 2 sections each. In class 6, the teacher taught the students using visual learning in section A, and in section B, it was the normal board teaching. So after the explanations were done, a test was conducted, and the results were much better in class 6A, where the average was 8.4 out of 10, whereas in class 6B, it was only 7.2. And coming to class 8, we conducted an experiment depending on the group-based learning. Students of class 8A were grouped into different groups, and after the teacher had explained the topic, they were asked to interact among themselves, and after the interaction, there was a test conducted. In 8B, the teacher taught them using the board, and then a test was conducted. On comparing the results of both the sections, the results of class 8A proved to be much better because the students got a lot of time to discuss the topic and give their own views about the concept so that they could understand better. The class which was explained with the board, they scored better than the ones which were taught using visual learning. But in ours, but the reason was that the people who scored better, that section, class 6B, was much more intelligent and they were brighter than the other section. That was the reason. But the next time when we conducted, we made sure that both the sections had the children of equal capability, both dullers and the bright students. So when we conducted the test, that was the real way of conducting. So we got the correct results.
So we thought, why not, with the help of a psychologist and teacher, assess the students at an early age, group them according to their ability to learn, and teach them according to their ability to learn, so that they would be fascinated by the concept and show much better results than teaching all the students who learn differently in the same way.
What's unique about the whole research that you did?
We wanted the education system to be focusing on student. It should be student-centric rather than exam-centric.
So what is your solution and how is it distinct from the other solutions? That's the question.
The solution is psychologists and teachers. We can conduct a test to the students. We can ask them to assess the students and identify their ability to learn, how they can learn well, and group them into sections by classifying them according to their ability to learn and teach them accordingly.
Your concept, I mean, your idea of having a psychologist is absolutely to the point. I think we underplay the role what a psychologist can play. I think that's a great idea.
Thank you, sir.
When I was asked to come this afternoon, I was expecting some kind of a quiz, but it seems to be much more interesting and much more involved exercise. So it's first let me thank the organizers, Central Bookshop, and all the participants to do something interesting and innovative while to provoke the students to think a little differently.